say inflation is their number one concern. They're concerned about the affordability, the availability of energy right now. And so those are the concerns that he has to balance, because inflation is such a high concern. And so when you talk about these wage gains, as he was talking about on Friday, they have to balance that with the fact that that is being undermined by inflation.
Look, everything the president just said that we just listened is true. It's also largely irrelevant. When inflation is where it's at, when you see gas prices going where it's at, we can talk about a jobs report here. We can talk about the latest PCE numbers of the CPI, and all of us former Bloomberg reporters can really get into the weeds, right? But there's one number that they can't really change right now, and that is what the placard says at the local gas station.
Yeah.
And that number is high, and that's a daily jobs report that voters, that Americans, consumers see every day, and there's nothing the White House can do about it other than bring down the price of gasoline, which is tough.
And maybe blame Putin. And this week the tagline was the Putin price hikes or something to that effect.
Look, when I drive past gas stations that say blame Putin more than they say let's go Brandon, I'll know the White House. I'll know the White House has been successful in messaging it.
That is fascinating in its own right. But take a look at this Quinnipiac poll. Americans just don't buy that this is related to the war in Ukraine, and most of it, frankly, is not. 41% say it's Biden's policies, just 24% say the war in Ukraine. 24% also say, the oil and gas companies are raising prices. But the White House is trying to do both. Blame Putin, blame the oil and gas companies, but Americans just don't agree.
Yeah, they're trying to also, as you said, put this on oil and gas companies, put this on price gouging. They also have been trying to explain throughout it all that this is part of coming out of a recession and part of coming out of what the pandemic wrought. And Americans, though, feel as though even though wages are increasing, that they're not increasing to the pace that prices are increasing. And so that's the difficulty there. I also think part of that Democratic gap in enthusiasm has a lot to do with Biden's stalled agenda. When you talk to Democratic voters, they bring up the fact that he hasn't done anything on student debt. They bring up the fact that nothing has happened on voting rights. Young voters, Biden's numbers have dropped by double digits with young voters, and they were a big